Over the last 25 years, I've had the privilege of interviewing and highlighting some truly interesting people. Everyone who is anyone, both famous and infamous, from presidents and their first ladies to kings and queens, movie stars and pop stars, captains of industry, heads of state, sports personalities, innovative entrepreneurs, and some pretty fascinating everyday people. Today, I am proud to introduce you to Steve Haddadin, founder and president of King Real Estate Group, who is one of the youngest in the real estate industry to have gained the Certified Commercial Investment Member credential, a highly coveted credential in the real estate industry. Steve, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I want to say that you've held, as I look around, a number of sales and real estate roles. What actually attracted you to the real estate industry in the beginning?
It's a good question, Star. It actually begins when I was a young boy, and my father and I we were just driving around a neighborhood one time, and he was trying to tell me, you have a lot of high hopes for the future, and I would say you should get your real estate license when you turn 18, and you could do this while you're in college, and this would be a good idea. And a lot of people who've entered the industry have reaped high rewards and become very successful that he knows. So I took that into consideration when I was younger, and I haven't looked back since I've done it. It's just from when I was 18 to now, and everything's been great. And it was a great tip from my father, and I appreciate it every day.
It sounds so very smart. Your father was very practical, giving you a head start in a career that could last you a lifetime and also be very lucrative and beneficial to your community. I see that you hold a certified commercial investment member credential. And, as I've been reading about that, that is considered to be the quote PhDs of the real estate industry. And you consider it really a valuable part of your business. Why do you think is earning it considered a notable achievement?
So earning the CCIM commercial investment member credential, it basically speaks to your expertise. It tells a buyer, an investor, or an agent on the other side that whoever you're working with is an expert. He or she's been through rigorous education, a lot of experience, whether on sales or management of real estate. And to get that, you need a lot of experience. You need to go through some rigorous coursework for financial analysis and demographics and market analysis. And once you have it, you set yourself apart from the rest of the industry. Only about 8 to 9% of the industry actually has this credential, and it takes years to get it. I was fortunate to actually get at the age of 22. I was very young. And
Actually, you were one of the youngest people to ever get it.
yeah, actually the second or the third youngest. I'm not sure exactly on the number because I've looked up, I've seen people at 22, 23, 24. But yeah, I'm one of those. And it's very been helpful in my career.
Mhm.
I was able to help my clients predict their future and their goals, and to put together a plan. And ultimately, a lot of people have been referred to me through the directory, and it helps me stand out from the rest of the industry.
It makes a lot of sense. When I'm looking for a particular kind of doctor, I'm looking for someone with certification in that area. I'm looking for someone who has had extensive background experience, additional education. And so it would go to figure, since real estate is a extremely competitive industry, you want the best. And if there is a credential that says this person has really made this a focus, I'm looking for that kind of person. So, congratulations on that. Let me just ask, what do you think makes you an effective real estate broker? Not just a credential, but what makes you stand out in front of others?
Yeah. So ultimately, I, over the years, I've always educating myself and going to seminars and building my body of knowledge in the industry and multiple facets of the industry. And that allows me to be very hands-on as a broker, whether it's with my clients or with my team. And me being hands-on has refined our customer satisfaction experience. And By having that, we've ultimately made our business model a full service real estate brokerage where we focus on one client at a time with all the information I got throughout the industry. We make our method all about the client. We're not a volume based brokerage. We don't go out there and try to get 100 listings or 100 sales a year. We go one client at a time. We get all their goals. We work throughout the process with them. And that ultimately leaves a very good impression with people who are working with us. And it helps us stand out a lot in our marketplace.
That makes a lot of sense. And I know there are young people who are working in this industry, just starting out, but then there's also some veterans who are going to be watching this. So why don't you give us just your best insight as to what advice you have for someone who is starting off in their career?
Yeah. So for somebody who was starting off, when I look back to when I started, if I want to make it what I did, I was seeking out a lot of people who were doing what I want to do. For example, I could give you one guy. Mark Stark was a great mentor for me. He was my broker at Berkshire Hathaway when I started out. He had 26 offices, I believe, and over 2,000 agents working under him in 3 states, California, Nevada, and Arizona. And he actually gave me a lot of time. He actually thought that I was a guy who he should mentor. He really liked what I was showing him. And his mentorship, his guidance, and watching how he did things really, really made me have this direction. And ultimately, what I want to say is find someone who is doing what you want to do, who has accomplished something that you want. And that is the best first step because
Mhm.
people try all kinds of things. And it's best to go to somebody who's done it, who's
Mhm.
tried all those things, and who's succeeded and failed at certain things, and who can give you guidance.
Absolutely. As you look at a possible mentor, you really want to pick a mentor who, one, is doing what you're doing, two, doing it very successfully, and three, has sort of a methodology that you can emulate and then enhance. And I think that's really the most effective kind of mentor a young entrepreneur can find. And you seem to have found exactly what we are just discussing right now. So, Steve, let me go to just this whole concept of success because you've had relative success as a young person and you've been able to grow your business. So, what would you say is the most important ingredient to success?
That's a tough one. So, because there's a lot of ingredients, not just one thing. But if I were to really think about that, I would say passion. Passion is very important because you can work hard all you want. You know, a lot of people work hard, but it's not just about working hard. It's about loving what you do because for example, if you can go out with family or friends and talk about what you're doing and it doesn't feel like you're talking about work, now you know that you found your passion. Okay. But if you're not passionate about it, no matter what you're going to do, you're just going to, at the end of the day, you're not going to think of, oh, how can I get better? You're just going to work, work, work. And then you're just going to be like, oh, that's it. But if you really love what you're doing, that is, at least I believe 50% of the formula of success. It's just the passion in itself.
You know, my father used to say, find something you love to do and then figure out a way to get paid for it. So you have to find the thing you love to do as that foundational step. So let me pick your brain since I've got my certified real estate agent here. How would you describe the current real estate market?
Great question. So our market right now, because there's a lot of concern with the inflation coming and the interest rate hikes that was announced. So I could break it down like this. I see the market's still going to be growing, but it's going to slow down a little bit, the growth. Nothing like the last 12 months. So I don't want to turn this into a history lesson, but if we go back to the 1970s, the consumer price index averaged about 7.1%, and housing prices went up by about 9.9%. Okay. And then in the 1980s, interest rates soared to deal with the inflation. And basically, housing prices still were rising to match that. And the reason, one of the catalysts for that was the rising rents. Rents were rising. So when we fast forward to today's market, we just had a over the last 12 months, a 6.6% consumer price index average. Okay. And housing prices on average raised about 19.5%. And this is statistics by Zillow and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And when I kind of compared the timeframes, I'm looking at where we're at today. The Federal Reserve announced the interest rate hikes, and rent is soaring. Rent's soaring, and I'm correlating that to the 1970s, 1980s, and it seems to be the same pattern. Only it's happening a lot faster today. And today's pace is a lot faster.
Yes.
And a lot of experts seem to be agreeing with this narrative. For example, I follow Lawrence Yun from the National Association of Realtors. He's a chief economist, very highly regarded economist for real estate, and he's pretty much said the same thing, where he's matching it to the 1970s, 1980s, and he's seeing the same trend. And the market's still growing, and we have also the demand is still here and we have diverse demographics right now. So you have the millennial buyers coming in, and you have the baby boomers looking to sell to downsize. And the millennial buyers are coming in to buy where they can afford versus where they like, because of the work from home offered by a lot of companies. They're worried more of, you know what, I just want to buy at this point. It's not about where I want to now. Distance from the office, it doesn't really matter anymore, because the companies are allowing people to work from home. So it's expanded opportunities for millennials. And I heard a lot of millennials moving to, Utah and small places in Texas, and a lot of
Right, where you
cities.
can raise a family, where you can have a better life, where you can
Yeah,
live in an environmentally more sound place than, if you work for a big major corporation and you used to have to be in one of the big cities on one of the big
yeah,
coasts. Now you don't have to do that. And just your comments make me think that there are so many technological advancements in addition to where our marketplace has gone to that work from home model. Do
yeah.
you see these technological advances, the AI advances, et cetera, as a threat to your business or an enhancement to your business? And then tell me how that will impact on your future plans for business.
That's an excellent question. So in my business, the way because I every day I'm looking into that. In my business, I say it's going to enhance what we're doing. It's not going to enhance a lot of people's business. It's going to actually affect some people's businesses, and I'm going to elaborate on that. So, to the point I brought up earlier about how you're more invested in the industry. For those that come in the industry as like a seasonal job, as like I'm going to do this part time, and they're not really invested in their knowledge or the future of their business, that's going to impact them. But for the people that are fully in, it's going to assist them. The technology enables the professional. It helps them with serving their clients, with showing them different trends and market analysis. It'll help them in that regard. It's not going to. I don't see realtors and brokers being replaced by this technology. They've been saying this for the last 30, 40 years. I don't see them being replaced. But what I see is, when you go out to buy a property and you see the person you're working with, you have a lot of information on your phone now, and then you're not really seeing them giving you that information. They don't seem like they really know all the stuff that they're talking about. They don't seem that you're not going to work with them. You're either going to work it on your own, or you're going to find somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's best that you commit to this industry. If you're going to be in this industry, you commit to it. So when you're working with the clients going forward, you can help them. You can do your job. You can fulfill your requirement of what
Yes.
you help them out. Because right now they're going to have all this information on their phone. So why would they want to work with you if you're not helping them? Your phone is helping them more than you are.
Yeah, and it's really important that the professional actually understand the technology, because the layperson, you may be able to find it. Well, Google will allow us all access to anything, but the interpretation of that is where your expertise will come in, or where a different professional's expertise will come in. We have to rely upon you to help us sort of get through all of the material that is out there for us to consume, and narrow it down to something that is actually usable to each one of us. So I agree with you. I think it's an enhancement, but only an enhancement for someone who is as passionate about the job that they're doing as you seem to be. Steve, before we go, I'd love to know, what's the one thing you'd like the viewer to walk away with today?
One thing I'd like a viewer to walk away with is, stay the course in whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether you're trying to get into my industry or any other industry. Things take time ultimately. And, it might happen sooner than you expect. It might take a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, things work out for those who remain committed, who stay the course, who are bold. It will work out. And I would say, just if you feel things are not working out right now, I hope this sheds a light on you. And I hope that this allows you to stay at what you're doing. You might be very passionate too, and you might still feel like, my passion, my hard work's not working, but stay the course. Stay the course.
That's just 100% good advice. I have this quote that's etched in my quote book. I keep a wonderful book of quotes of things that sort of help encourage me in my career. It's, I may not be there yet, but I'm closer than I was yesterday. And it really speaks to what you're talking about in terms of perseverance, because great difficulties are only surmounted by patience and perseverance. So even if a person that's new to a particular industry finds that there's some bumps in the roads, I agree with you 100%. Patience and perseverance is what will get you through those bumps.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Steve, for your time today, and thank you for your insight, and congratulations on all the work that you've been doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's great being here.